So the company started just after the turn of the century, when a man by the name of Clement Studebaker and a group of investors purchased a struggling watch company based in Ohio. That watch company was called the Columbus Watch Company. So they continued to make watches in Ohio for a period of time, but over a few years they built a state-of-the-art factory in South Bend, Indiana, and they relocated the base of operations there. After the company moved, they changed the name of the company to South Bend. Now, if you're a history buff for classic American automobiles, the name Studebaker probably sounds very familiar to you. That's because Clement's father was one of the original founders of the Studebaker Company. And they started off by making horse carriages, but they became famous for making automobiles. And they manufactured automobiles from the early 1900s up until the 1960s. Now, by all accounts, the company was considered a success. They had built a state-of-the-art factory in South Bend. They employed 300 people, and they were able to produce 60,000 watches a year for nearly 3 decades. Unfortunately, the company ran into troubles during the 1920s. During this period, the company started selling Studebaker branded watches. Now, these were physically identical to the South Bend with a couple of differences. The first is these watches were not sold through retailers. The Studebaker watches were offered directly to customers through mail order. The other difference is the Studebaker watches were sold on credit. In fact, if you look at some of the advertisements for these watches, you'll see that they were offered for just $1 down. So to make matters worse, the stock market crashed in October of 1929, and this signaled the start of the Great Depression. Now, South Bend found themselves in a pretty bad situation, having too many customers that had lost their jobs and just couldn't pay off their accounts. Unfortunately, this spelled the end for South Bend, and the factory was closed the very next month in November of 1929.